Good morning, Facebook family and friends and YouTube subscribers. Today it is Thursday, February 11th, 2016. I was just on Facebook having a debate with some friends about Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton and the prison industrial complex. Some people are trying to blame President Bill Clinton, for some laws that were put in place when he was in office that led to a large amount of African Americans being in prison for years, long sentences, guidelines, all kinds of stuff that took place at a point where the American justice system was trying to clean up certain neighborhoods. And they in fact came up with these sentencing guidelines to keep people in prison longer, to keep them off the streets. The whole goal was to clean up neighborhoods, to keep violent offenders off the streets in certain neighborhoods like Washington, D.C., New Jersey, New York, Detroit. In certain cities, when they went to federal prison, they would have to serve a certain amount of time for a certain amount of crimes. Some people end up getting life in prison. Some people end up serving years and years in prison for non-violent crimes, which really wasn't the intentions of the law. The purpose of the law was to get repeat offenders, violent offenders off the streets in these urban areas. Now, I'm a black man. I have a criminal record. I've served time in prison. I'm a convicted felon. I can't go around blaming anyone for my actions that I took that led to me becoming a convicted felon and going to prison. And this is where I have a problem with so many blacks pointing the finger at Bill Clinton, various laws. They point at everybody. This person, they blame everybody instead of blaming themselves for their actions that led to them going to prison. And it scares me that so many of us just refuse to take responsibility for our actions. I have a lot of family members who've never ever been arrested in their entire life. I have a lot of friends who've never been arrested in their entire life. I know a lot of people who've never even spent one day in jail. Then I know some people who are constantly in and out of jail because of their actions. I have friends who, I can tell you some stories. I have some friends who did all kinds of stuff. African Americans who go to prison are going to have to, who commit crimes that they're guilty of. And this is where things get sticky for me. If you committed that crime and you're guilty of committing that crime and you repeatedly commit crimes, what do you expect? You think that these people are just going to continue to let you commit crimes over and over again and they're just going to send you home? It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way nowhere on planet Earth. So these laws may have in fact led to people serving longer sentences than they probably should have served. That's a possibility. I would agree with that. But when do we look at the real problem here? We seem to, over the past 15, 20 years, idolize criminal activity in the black community. And we've placed criminals and people who do criminal activities, such as selling drugs. Look at any of these hip-hop music videos. Look at some of the lifestyles that are promoted on the radio station by hip-hop music and in these videos and media. We promote this stuff. And then we get angry. We promote it in our community as a way to survive. Selling drugs really isn't the way of survival. There are other things you can do other than selling drugs. So once people get caught selling drugs and caught doing illegal activities, the first thing they want to do is, of course, they're going to blame everybody else for their own actions because they're in jail for 25 to 30 years to life. Whose fault is that they are serving such a long prison time? Nothing to do with these laws. People are going to have to start being responsible for their actions. Black Americans are going to have to stop all this blame game and sit down and think before they do things. And I sat down and thought before I committed those crimes. I knew I was committing those crimes. I knew what I was doing. And I should not have done it. Being young and stupid, I made some stupid mistakes. Now, I was surrounded by people telling me, Walter, you need to stop this. do not do this. From roundabout, I didn't listen to anyone. So when eventually I did get arrested, ended up in trouble getting with the law and getting convicted and sent to prison and serving time. It was my fault. They built all these prisons in Georgia. They were going to fill up those prisons. And I was one of the dum-dums that ended up getting arrested and charged with a crime and sent to one of these empty prisons. I was there for the grand opening of many prisons. Whose fault is that? Me. So until we all, African Americans, stop the blame game. See, it's so much easier to blame somebody else for your issues in your life instead of looking in the mirror. I'm tired of arguing about this prison industrial complex that's been created for criminals. Don't do the crime if you cannot do the time. Can't blame Bill Clinton for this. Most of those people who are in those prisons did commit those crimes. And I'm not saying that there are some innocent people. Every day we watch the news, we see innocent people being released from prison. Some who served years and years on death row. I'm not referring to those situations. I'm referring to the thousands and thousands of actually guilty people who were committing those crimes, who are now sitting in prison wanting out. They should have thought about that before they committed those crimes. I have tons of friends who go in and out of prison, in and out of prison, in and out of prison. They get out, they commit crimes, they go right on back. They lose everything that they've earned during that criminal reign and the criminal activity they were doing. They lose it all. And they go right back to prison. One of my friends was arrested. They found $300,000 in cash under his bed. And you were still in the banks taking shit out these damn banks. $300,000 was enough to sit your ass down and go someplace and open up a business or do something creative with your life? No, because you enjoy this crime. He was enjoying committing these criminal activities and sitting up in strip joints all night with all these damn women around him, making it rain in there. Just like Apollo, the guy who was in prison now, back in federal prison, who was married to this woman, what's her name, on the Housewives of Atlanta. I don't watch that show, so I really don't know these characters on there. But I'm familiar with Apollo's story. This man was married to an attorney, but he chose to go back to committing crimes so he can sit in a strip club and throw dollar bills, y'all, over these strippers. So he's back in prison. Whose fault is that? His. He can't blame the white folks or the criminal justice system or Bill Clinton or anybody for his own actions. And until we stop blaming people and sit down and look at our own actions and the things that we do that we're responsible for, nothing will change in our communities. We can strip those laws away and people are still going to commit criminal activity and still go to jail. Even without those laws, people will still serve serious time in prison. Because if you keep committing crimes over and over and over against the rest, you're going to serve some time. Period. So we have to begin looking at our actions. Instead of the black community and our leaders attacking Bill Clinton and these lawmakers, we need to be looking at our community and saying, you guys need to change your actions. Stop having these hip-hop record promoters promote this lifestyle of selling drugs and sitting up in these strip clubs and making it rain and doing stupid stuff. This stuff is promoted in our communities. Anyway, this is just my thoughts and my own opinions. Like I said, I am a convicted felon. I've been to prison. I know what it's like. I talked to those guys in that prison. I done talked to thousands of people. Many people couldn't wait to get out of prison and go right back to committing the crimes that put them there in the first place. Some people don't learn. So anyway, this is just my thoughts on the subject. I support Hillary Clinton. I'm voting for her. Those of you who think that Bill Clinton did something wrong, I don't think Bill Clinton intentionally set out to create laws to imprison black people. They tried to clean up some of these rough neighborhoods. Washington, D.C. is now a beautiful city, but it wasn't like that 20, 30 years ago. There were people getting shot and killed daily in that city. Parts of New York were horrendous in the 80s when they came up with these laws in the late 80s, early 90s. They were trying to clean up these cities. I remember going to Washington, D.C. and saying, Washington, D.C. visiting and saying, I got to get the hell out of this hellhole. It was horrible. Today, it's a much more beautiful city because they cleaned up those streets. Chicago was a much better, cleaner place because they cleaned up those cities. They got rid of that element that was there. Cabrini Green does not exist the way it did in the 70s and the 80s. It's clean now. And there's a reason why these streets are clean. These cities are urban environments are clean. So they got all the riffraff off the street and locked their asses up. It's just the truth. Like my videos, click like, share them with family members and friends, and I look forward to hearing you all's comments and your thoughts on the prison industrial complex and whose fault is it all those inmates are in those behind those bars. I'm out.